Hello, and welcome to today's podcast, hosted by Marcus Hicks and Lydia Calloway. We are both graduate students at UT Health Science Center pursuing our master's in dental hygiene. And we'd like to have a discussion today on a topic that is rarely broadcasted. It actually happens quite quietly and almost invisibly, like the first toothache that doesn't get checked. At first, no one really notices. A professor postponed a class, a clinic director decided to not renew their contract, and then another left for private practice, and then another, and then another. In the wake of COVID-19 pandemic, something unsettling unfolded in our dental schools and hygiene programs across the country, a mass exodus, not of students, but of our mentors, of educators, are the very people who shape the next generation of oral health providers.
Yeah, Lily. So in Texas alone, the once vibrant faculty lounges, they're now echo chambers. Vacancy postings, they stay open for months. The program directors, they scramble to meet accreditation standards while they also fill in for clinical shifts themselves. And still, the pipeline is shrinking. So today we're digging deep into this silent crisis, and we're just asking the question that others are afraid to. And that question is, where are our clinicians going?
Agree. Why are the dental educators disappearing? And what will it mean for patient care, our public health, and the future of our profession that can reshape dentistry for decades to come?
That's correct, Lily. And so before we dive in, let me introduce myself. So real briefly, my name is Marcus Hicks. I'm the proud son of Bonita, which is a small town in Northeast Louisiana, a town that has raised me on values, faith, and the power of a good smile. You see, all my life, people have told me that I was born to smile, and not just to wear one, but to help others find theirs as well. And for the longest time, I didn't realize just how true that was. So I started my journey at Louisiana Tech University, earning a bachelor's in biology. And like many, I ventured into the world with a degree in my hand and the dreams in my back pocket. It wasn't until 8 years later, during a moment of deep reflection, that I remembered those early words where I was told you were born to help others smile. So that spark turned into a flame, and I made the life-changing decision to go back to school to become a dental hygienist. Now, let me tell you, it was the best decision I've ever made. Not only did I find my calling, but I discovered a career that perfectly aligns with my purpose. I haven't stopped smiling since. Now, I have the privilege of bringing those same values, care, curiosity, and connection to this podcast, where we'll explore the stories and challenges shaping our profession. So today's topic is a very big one, and I hope to dive in deep.
Marcus, I couldn't agree with you more. It is definitely a career that aligns with our purpose in life. Hello, I am Lydia Calloway. I go by Lily as well. I grew up in a small town called McAllen, Texas. And my smile blossomed much like Marcus as a youth. The day my braces came off, I've been smiling ever since. That was the moment that ignited my spark for helping others gain confidence and their smile. Right after high school graduation, I had attended University of Texas Pan American, which is now known as UTRGV, from 1994 to 1997. I eventually went into hygiene in 2002, and I graduated from Texas State Technical College in Harlingen, Texas in 2004 with an associate's degree in dental hygiene. Later, I completed my Bachelor of Science in Dental Hygiene from the University of Texas Health Science Center in San Antonio. I'm a proud member of the American Dental Hygiene Association. I'm a Sigma Phi Alpha, and as well as fellowship of the ADHA. I was honored to serve as president of my Student Dental Hygiene Association during my associate's program from 2002 to 2004. And my passion is crafting healthy smiles and sharing my skills with the community. Not only do I work in private practice, but I'm also a dental humanitarian. I donate my time and my skills through various dental community events in Texas, as well as mission trips abroad to Honduras. I've been very blessed with a skillful hands and knowledge, and I'm so happy to be a resource to share my knowledge as well as an extension of access to care and uphold my oath.
Wow, that's amazing, Lily. Quite the clinician there.
So our call to action is about why we need you, why clinicians are qualified educators. There's no shortage of dental hygiene influencers and keynote speakers, yet we find a gap in the dental hygiene faculty. There are several factors to consider when examining the issue, which may include lack of adequate compensation, faculty retirement, high clinical demand, maybe even limited mentoring for new faculty, low recruitment efforts, and quite possibly just a general lack of awareness about the shortage that's actually happening. These shortages impact the quality of dental hygiene education and the ability of programs to meet the workforce demands.
Yes, that's spot on, Lily. So in our profession, we're facing a crisis that doesn't really make the headlines, but it will absolutely shape the future of our career. There's a shortage of graduate level dental hygiene faculty, and it's not just a staffing issue, it's a system-wide ripple effect that's hitting us from every angle. So according to a study that was featured in the Journal of Dental Hygiene, every single respondent within this particular study, 100%, they acknowledged that they were aware of the shortage. So that's not an anecdote, that's a warning signal. That's a collective call from the students themselves, many of whom they say that they would themselves pursue a graduate degree online if it meant help solving this faculty gap. So here's the real pitfall. While we're encouraging more students to rise to the occasion, the road to becoming an educator, it's not exactly well paved. Most programs will still require relocation. Some require time off. And let's be honest, as a hygienist, this isn't the most ideal scenario due to the salary. So it makes it to where it's not always practical. That's why that article also highlights that there's a distance education that can serve as a lifeline. That's a way to train the clinicians into educators without asking them to completely uproot their lives. But here's the twist. That disclaimer is working. So when the learner-centered techniques are applied through distance education, students, they don't lose academic quality. In fact, many of them, they thrive. Yet our adoption of these tools is still too slow and is too scattered to really show a major impact. So in the meantime, program directors, they're wearing two hats. Clinics are being stretched thin, and everybody's at a real risk of turning qualified applicants away. So it's not for the lack of interest, but simply due to the lack of instructors. So because if the only thing that's holding our profession back is the person not sitting in that chair, then we need to pull up another seat fast.
And you and I are living proof that distance and online learning is our lifeline. It is possible to pursue that higher degree in education. It's quite interesting too, because even though our stats and employment is rising, according in May of 2024, the Bureau had reported that there are 16,000 employed Texas dental hygienists. That's not including those that work in the temp agencies. But compared to 2021, where there were only 11,500 or so reported working, we're looking at an upward trend of 4,500 more hygienists in the workforce. But the question is that even though we are growing within the workforce, are we actually meeting the needs of our dental hygiene educators and not just filling the chairs in the dental clinics? It is kind of crazy to understand that even though we're growing, how do we have the shortage? When I was applying for dental hygiene school in 2001, there were only 14 dental hygiene programs in Texas. Wow. Today, if you look at the Texas State Board of Dental Examiners, there are 27 dental hygiene programs in Texas. 27. Wow. And how are we filling those chairs, right? The resolution actually begins with our academia, the educator positions.
That's absolutely correct, Lily. And another staggering statistic is that nationwide, there's only about 6% of all dental hygienists who even hold a master's degree. There's another 6% who hold doctoral degrees. So of the total pie, 12%, that leaves 88% of these clinicians without those sorts of degrees. So that's a staggering statistic.
You are right. One of the biggest challenges we do find as hygienists is our salary, right? Mm-hmm. Working in a dental office can sometimes bring in a higher salary than our education institutions. So that's definitely a hard sell when it comes to recruiting into education. And we do understand there are other barriers, such as time management, maybe tuition costs, the support system, stress and anxiety, your academic expectations, and maybe even just a lack of flexibility in our lives at this time. But what I want you to do is focus on the future, not where you are right now, but look at your long-term goals in your profession. Where are you in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now?
Very true. Very, very true, Lily. A lot of external factors, they definitely strengthen the already torturous barriers that lie in the path of what was once a thriving career path. So here's a hard truth, though, about some of those internal factors that we mentioned. We're not just missing teachers in the classroom. We're actually losing an entire generation of mentors, researchers, and leaders. The educators who once carried the torch through the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, they're retiring. And guess what? There's hardly anyone that's going to be lined up to take their place.
And in fact, one of my greatest mentors in education at UT Health Science Center just retired. And yeah, there are advantages to completing your bachelor's degree and as well as going into your master's. There are plenty of resources that allow 100% online learning. This gives you the flexibility and convenience with balancing your work as well as your studies. The key is to keep learning, whether it's online or hybrid. The classroom is at your fingertips today.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And there's an array of different universities that offer bachelor's and master's completion programs. Of those many, I'll kind of give you a few, and maybe you can kind of help me out as well, Lily. But off the top of my memory, I know that there's the University of Michigan. That university, they offer both a master's and a dental hygiene education program. It's very flexible from what I understand. There's the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. They also offer both master's and doctoral options for hygienists who are working. And then there's a university that I personally applied to in addition to applying to the program that we're currently doing. It was only two programs that I applied to. One was, of course, UT Health at San Antonio, and then the other was Ohio State University. Ohio State University, they offer dental hygiene educators track, which includes research, leadership, and it's a dual degree pathway as well.
Well, it's amazing. A few other schools that I also looked at were the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. They offer a dental hygiene educator track as well. Another is the Eastern Washington University that has a distance-based master's program and education programs tailored for hygienists that are specifically looking to enter academia or public health leadership. Like Marcus said, it's all about engaging into your community. Talk to your component leaders, be involved in your local chapter, and have that conversation with your colleagues. Those that are currently advancing their degree, ask them how it's going. So your role as a dental hygienist doesn't stop with patient care. Teaching challenges you to be creative, adaptable, as well as resilient. It's a great way to develop your own skills and abilities while paving the way for others.
I'd like to leave the dental hygiene world, the current clinicians, with this. So every dental hygiene student remembers their first faculty member who truly inspired them, the one who stayed after clinic hours, who pushed them past their comfort zone, the one who just simply said, "You got something special." But what happens when there's no one left to say that or to fill that particular instructor's role? The future of our profession, it hinges on who's standing in front of our classrooms. And right now, we need new leaders. We need you, current dental clinicians. If you're a practicing hygienist who's listening to this and you've ever thought maybe I could teach someday, well, I'm here to tell you that you can. Whether you've got 2 years of experience or 20, the path to becoming an educator is more accessible now than it's ever been. And I feel like it's going to get pretty much even more accessible with AI, online technology, expanding universities. That pathway is becoming an even more open pathway to venturing off into the educational side of things. Now, will it be easy? No, but neither was hygiene school, right? Neither was showing up for your patients every day, and yet you do it with excellence and you do it with a smile. So imagine what you could do with a class full of future clinicians who are looking up to you. So here's my challenge. If you've ever dreamed of influencing the next generation, then just make the first move. Reach out to a program director, sign up for a graduate informational session, mentor a student, and just simply say yes to the leadership role in your local or state dental hygiene association. Because the classroom is waiting, the faculty lounge has space, the profession needs your voice, your wisdom, and they need your story.
100%. Thank you, Marcus, for joining me on today's podcast. Again, for those who are looking for more information, you can always go to the American Dental Hygiene Association website. You can go to your local state board website. Like in Texas, we have Texas State Board of Dental Examiners. They have a list of all the hygiene schools available. Send out emails to program directors for those online programs and start getting some information. Thank you, and I appreciate you joining us on today's podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lily.